All right. For those of you who I may not have had the privilege to meet yet, or maybe I've just met for the first time. My name is Wayne Traywicks, and I will be the co-facilitator for today's call, along with Blanca Burns. And before we get started with the meeting, I would like to invite my brother Brian McNutt to open the meeting with a prayer, please.
Sounds good. Thanks, Wayne. Let's pray. Father, thank you so much for just another beautiful day. And just thank you for your blessings. And just thank you for this family that we have here. Though different parts of the country, we can join together in one common cause and with one heart and talk about some stuff that we're passionate about. We thank you for the passion that you give in each one of us. And so specifically ask that you just bless this time and may it continue to be fruitful, and may the relationships come from this go way beyond this season that we're in. And we just thank you for this time with your son and for the life of the example that he lived. But more so now in this season, we thank you for his death and his resurrection that gives us life that we can live with him. We love you. Praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Thank you, brother. Really appreciate that. All right. Today we are covering a couple of topics. We're going to complete a topic that we started last week, which was video breakdown procedures. And then we're going to roll right into help calls, understanding help calls. The first thing I'd like to ask the group as a whole, does anyone have any questions regarding the topic we discussed last week? Any other observations or anything that come to mind after the call ended? Wow, B, were we that good? Were we really that good? Wow. Well, I'll tell you what. Yes. Well, today, here's what we're going to do. We're going to discuss, there's something that was on my mind after we completed the call last week. And what I want to review today is, let's take a more detailed look at how to break down videos. We broke down several videos last week. Great discussion, great participation. But I really do think that we need to step into actually going through the steps of how to break down game video. There's an outline that was created. We posted it in GroupMe. So for anyone who needs it, can download it straight from GroupMe. If anyone needs it, let me know and I'll send it to you. And it's the basic outline for breaking down video. And what we'll do is we will go through that here at the beginning of the meeting, so that for those of us who are trying to learn to become adept at breaking down our own videos, I believe it's an invaluable tool for getting to know our own game, to understand your own game. So what I'm going to do is, let me go ahead and pull this up really, really quick, and we will go through it here at the beginning. All right, this outline was created, and like I said, it's available to anyone who may need it. And going through this at the very beginning, for those of you who are learning to break down your own videos, and for those of you who are actually very good at it, but we may need to be reminded sometimes of the purpose of video breakdown. And like I mentioned last week, a lot of times we look at video to see if we got the play right. We just want to know, did I get the play right or wrong? And like I've shared, it's not about did we get it right or wrong. It's how did we get it right? How did we happen to miss this play or get this play wrong? So in order to do that, we got to take a detailed look at your game videos. And the very first thing that I suggest everyone to do, when you sit down to break down your videos, you must establish an objective mindset. Try to view your video as if you are breaking down the video of a friend, of a co-official. And this is incredibly hard to do because we're so engaged and we're so impacted by our and we love what we do so much and we want to be better. It's hard to establish that objective mindset sometimes, but it's critically important if you're going to get the most out of it. And obviously, when you sit down to break down your video, there are 4 things that you must have. Number one is your CCA manual. That's our Bible. Okay, that's the word. CCA manual, the rule book, the case book, and everyone should have a journal that they keep all their notes and observations and thoughts in, so they can always have it with you. The other part that's also very important is when you decide to break down game video, make sure that you schedule an uninterrupted amount of time so you can actually dig in and focus on it, so that that can be your primary focus during that time. There's no set amount of time that you have to give towards any video breakdown. That's totally up to you, up to your schedule. It could be as short as 15 minutes, or it could be 2 to 3 hours, depending on how much time you have and how deep you want to get into it. But always set uninterrupted time, set aside so you're not interrupted. Take your time and be very, very, very detail oriented. Pay attention to the smallest details. And once again, when we're looking at the video, we have to understand exactly what it is that we're looking at. What are we looking? What are we watching? What are we looking for? And I always say it starts and ends with positioning. Our positioning will determine the accuracy and the effectiveness of our play calling on the floor. And we have to get to the point we can achieve consistent positions on similar plays throughout the entire ball game, from position to position. And we're not going to go through each position individually, but I've listed the page numbers in your CCA manual. Now, for the men officials, obviously the references will probably have slightly different page difference. I understand that. But refer to your CCA manual when you're looking at yourself in lead, trail, center, when we're measuring free throws. And here's the key, especially when we're working in transition. Watch yourself on video. Look at your position at every step along the play. When the play begins, look and see where you are. Do you like your position at that time when the play begins? As the play develops, what is prompting your movements? Look at your prompts on the floor. Is it the players? Is it the ball? Is it the matchups? Stationary players versus moving players? Your partners? Or is it the situation that you're in? Understand what's prompting your movements, and then that will understand you attaining the position that you're in, and then that will explain your perspective on that play. So let's really dig into the details and look at why you're in the position that you're in. Likewise, if you have opportunity to replay the play in your mind and go back and remember where were you looking? Where was your vision? And then looking at the video and how that play is unfolding, where should your vision have been? That's the key in maintaining eye discipline. What were we actually looking at, and where should we have been looking? Along with positioning, and that's going to elevate our play calling percentages. All right, and there are some other things that are also important that you can adjust to while you're breaking down game video. Number one, your signals. And I know sometimes we take signals for granted, but that's your communication tool. That's why we all must be consistent and use approved signals. And our signals should be strong and they should be deliberate, because that's how we communicate. Look at yourself while you're on the floor. Look at your weight distribution. Are you balanced? Do you have your weight on your front foot or your back foot? That's going to give you an indicator of which direction you're intending to move. And I'm going to add something onto this also. And this is kind of, this is supposed to be basic coverage, but I'm going to add this to it anyway. We have to become adept at picking up the weight distribution of the players on the floor. And the reason why is if we can see a player put all their weight on one foot, we know we can anticipate them going the opposite direction. It's difficult for a player to put all the weight on one foot and continue to move in that direction. If we can pick up their trajectory, their direction, their weight distribution, that will help us anticipate the play so that we can position adjust prior to the player getting there, prior to the pass, prior to the drive, so that when the drive occurs, we're in position and can referee. The shot is taken, we're in position and can referee that open space, instead of allowing their movement to catch us by surprise, which puts us behind the play, allowing the pass to catch us by surprise, so we're further behind the play, and then we're moving after the catch is made and trying to officiate the defender, elevation, returning to the floor, legalities, all at the same time while we're moving. Let's do our best to attain the best position prior to the play terminating. All right, so here's the outline. Everyone feel free to go through it. If you have any questions, take what is listed and look at how we broke down the plays the previous week. Take the same steps and apply them to your own plays that you're breaking down, and use it as a learning tool to know your game. If you have any questions, please reach out to us and let us know, please. All right. That's the completion of last week's meeting. Alan Richardson.
What up? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Glad you can join us today, brother.
Righty.
All right. So now we're getting into the second part of the meeting, where we're focused on understanding help plays. And when we say help plays, these are plays that occur. We're talking beyond the basic help plays, out of bounds, 2 to 3, 3 to 2, RA plays, LDB plays, backcourt, front court. These are plays dealing with contact, legality, illegality that occur outside your primary. And if you want to be adept at understanding and applying the principles correctly, we have to understand when we should come out of our primary. A good rule of thumb, Brother Al, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, run everybody through the Beatitudes for putting whistles on plays outside your primary. There are 3. Now, before Brother Al gets started, there's a list of Beatitudes that are listed in the book of Matthew. There are 8, I believe. Today, we're going to list 3. We're going to list 3 of them that should assist you and help you when putting whistles on plays outside your primary.
So just as Brother Wayne iterated on as far as your balance, as far as your feet, you have to have a balance of your wind. It has to be kind of the same. So play is outside of your primary. You have to kind of push that wind down so your whistle, when it does blow, it's late. So you have to be late, okay? Now, the reason you're late is you have to make sure that you know that the play is right. So you have to be right. But before all of that, you have to really make sure that your partner cannot see that play. So you have to be needed for the crew, for the game, for everything except yourself. So you're sacrificing yourself for the betterment of the game and the betterment of your crew. So you have to be late, be right, and be needed.
That's correct. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Now, Blanca will start facilitating the videos that were provided. Oh, and I love the videos that were provided. Thank you guys very much. She will coordinate with the individuals who provided the videos, and we will go through them and try to apply these same principles to what we're watching.
Okay, can everyone please mute their phones or their laptops if they're not talking or have a question? That'd be really great. Thank you. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna jump right in. And first and foremost, does anybody have anything else to add that they think is needed when it comes to breaking down film? Anything we might have missed, any ideas, any comments, anything at all?
Just an overall understanding of why we break down film and why it's so important that we do it objectively, and we are our own worst critics. We always know we're our worst critics, but sometimes what we do is when we flip the film on, we look for call validation, just like Wes said, and that's not at all what it is. But it's so important that we are objective in what we do, because all we're doing is compiling in our brain an encyclopedia of play after play after play after play after play after play after play, that no matter continues to climb up, that you react to that same play, whether it's a high school game or a Division I game, you react to it the exact same way. And the only way you do that is visualization memory. And the only way you do that is to watch every single video as objectively as possible. So that's the main honeypot at the end of watching video after video after video, is that your body is just simply reacting the way it should normally react, regardless of the environment that you're in.
That's really good. Thank you so much, JB. And I just want to share with everyone, this is, again, we're all here to grow and get better together. So no question is a stupid question. And we really want to encourage you guys to be interactive and get out of your comfort zone and ask the questions that you need to ask so we can just all grow from this together. So with that, we're going to jump straight in. Angel, you want to go ahead and pull up your play and share your screen with the group, please?
Yep, let me get on it here.
Okay, and then you can just tell us what your experience was live and why it is that the decision was made.
Okay, cool. All right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and play this clip so y'all can watch it first. Let me know if I need to, I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit. See if that helps at all. Let me know if it's choppy. Okay, so live, I saw the crash and I knew it needed a whistle, and I was waiting for my trail to have a whistle. I realized he had the ball handler and a lot of other action going on in his primary coverage area, and so I just cracked on it. I don't know that I got it entirely right, which is the second beatitude. Make sure you get it right. I was late, definitely late. Not sure that I got it right, but I knew it needed a whistle. We had to have a whistle on this play. So if we break it down, everybody saw the crash at the cutting down the far lane line, right? Yeah, thumbs up. Anyone? Okay. So we see it. So as we watch the play unravel, we have a shot, we have a rebound in the far corner. I'm at center here. The ball's getting kicked back out. It's a pass. And I'm looking through a non-competitive matchup at the free throw line, elbow. And I can't really see the entirety of this play. I just know I have an offensive player crashing down, and it looked to me like my defender was stationary. But if we really watch the play, we can see this defender actually step up and into the path of the cutter. So in our women's mechanics manual and cover mechanics manual, that would be it should have been a block on red. But these are plays that we can't play on. This is not a play on. We can't pretend we didn't see it. And like we talked about last week, sometimes we have to take the information that we do have and make a decision on the court and go from there. So that's what I have.
Okay, now as far as positioning within the crew, did you guys ever have a conversation about why it is that trail didn't have a whistle on this play? Or did you talk about maybe how positioning could have been better? And if so, how is that?
Yeah, so we did talk about this play. We all said we're just glad we had a whistle on it to start with. Trail said, you know, I got stuck when that ball kicks out. He's like, I was just at 28 foot as it comes around. He's like, I didn't position adjust because really the girl that catches it isn't competitive and he's got to read the next play. And he said, I should have stepped up and on to get that play, to see the catch and to see the cutter coming down. If you want to also talk a little bit deeper, when we talk about primary isn't always proximity, we could argue that center and maybe lead have the best opportunity to see this whole play start, develop, finish, right? And it's probably center that has a better chance to see the whole thing. It's tough though, because I have two girls right on. It's a tough coverage play. Lead was in the corner watching the ball, ball handler low in the corner, and then it gets passed out. Then we have the cutter go down, and I don't really have a competitive matchup, but trying to get to my next competitive matchup is what we need to do when we don't have anything right in front of us, right in our proximate primary, so to say. So we did talk about it, and my whistle is so late, but I mean, we needed something one way or the other.
Okay, does anybody have any thoughts or questions about this play?
Yes, Angel, I agree with John, and I love the observation. A couple observations real quick. And I noticed let's call it a mechanic that the men's officials have started to implement. I've noticed it last year, really this year, and I asked Brother Brian Bignett about this, they have they're starting to start at the 20-foot mark and stay very disciplined and work below that if necessary. And this play really brought that to my attention because number one, like you said, we had a rebound to far corner, we have a pass out into Trail's primary. We pick up the movement of the players, and if we adjust down instead of coming out and up, we can pick up the movement of that cutter and that defender while that player is catching the ball for the pass and while the defender is starting to close out on her. And now we can start to officiate more than one matchup in our primary. Second part of it is I agree with Angel that center and lead really doesn't have anything competitive in their matchup. Lead after the pass is made and center is open. So you're right, we have to extend to our secondary coverage area. And now we have to start identifying players. Because probably what could have helped us is if we identified that player coming from the key and identified her as a cutter, we know what she can and cannot do, what the defender can and cannot do. She's a cutter. So the defender stepped into her, that play simplifies. What makes it difficult is this is a difficult play is because we're not in proximity to the contact. This is an atypical play. And we're having to make an adjustment instantaneously. And it's difficult. It's a very difficult play.
Hey, Wayne, if I may.
Yes.
I like the fact that Angel blew on this play from the center, but I would make the argument that probably she is the third option on this play.
Absolutely.
The lead, in my opinion, and really I think the fundamental breakdown here is the fact that the lead and trail, and one of the takeaways is you have to be able to recognize where your partner is refereeing and where they cannot. And we've kind of used the old adage of working off your partner's eyes. So I think if the lead and trail work off each other's eyes and know who's on ball, who's off ball, this probably becomes a really easy decision from the lead to come and get this play and call blocking.
That's good. It's really good. What else do we have? Any other observations or thoughts?
Well, just to piggyback on Rob, what he said, I think the reason why he says that center is the third option here is because we want to be able to have all the information, and it's clear that center would never be able to have all the information in this play because she's looking at the back of the defender. Lead, I would argue, has first crack at this play because on this particular play, trail and center have the same angle of the play. It's just reversed. But lead is looking underneath and can see the whole thing start, develop, and finish. And I agree with Rob. I'm glad that we had a whistle on the play. But I would say the breakdown here is when you stop it right there, that second, you've got four eyes refereeing a one-on-one matchup. And you've got center with all other 8 players. So that's just the breakdown mechanically.
Yeah, and
That's
I
good.
think too, one of the things that Angel said that was interesting was the fact that I think she mentioned the trail and had acknowledged that he didn't have an engaged matchup. Did I hear you right on that, Angel?
Yeah, he felt he had looking back after when we reviewed this play, in the game, he felt like he had a competitive matchup with the ball handler and the ball coming up. Like he felt the ball coming up to his offensive player in the corner where he's next to, right here on the 28. And he felt it was his competitive matchup to be watching. So he didn't have a big picture view of anything else going on, really. He just felt that pressure coming up and was ready for the catch, really.
Yeah, and that's a philosophy from the trail position, is to try to see the primary matchup and then as many of the other 8 players as possible. That's that big picture that you just referenced. And I think if he works to try to find that big picture look and not only refereeing his primary, but then being able to referee through until the next matchup area, again, I think, because we would all agree that this is a play that demands a whistle. And had he done that, I believe he would have pulled the trigger here and been able to call it. But again, just looking back, I mean, the lead is wide open for this play. If I was in the lead position and I was working outside in as she is, which is a good lead position in my opinion, I would really be questioning why I missed that play. And I know the women's game covers this a little differently with their lead going out all the way to the corner. So maybe that's the reason. But fundamentally, who would be off ball here in the women's game?
What Rob just said was right on. The women's mechanic, right? Y'all go all. How far out do y'all go in lead?
All the way out to the corner sideline.
All right. So yeah, in our game, we're at the point now where we're actually opening up while we're in lead now on certain on certain plays because this play obviously just takes the lead all the way to the corner, and that becomes tough. If you're just running a regular offense, and let's say she's in a one-on-one matchup in that corner, and you as the lead, you've got that. Now trail goes into the post, correct? Just like the NBA mechanic, right? And so this is different. I'm glad this is not my play. I'll put it that way. Okay, how about that? So, but to Rob's point, I think the ball just takes the lead, far away, even though as we look at this is an open look for the lead. But maybe if the lead would just hang out at maybe one step in, maybe, and just open up their shoulders, maybe they have a shot at this. I don't know.
No.
I think so. Where her position is,
I think it's the locker room. I think it's your pregame talk.
Yeah. So we can talk about engaged and unengaged matchups on this play. Granted, it's the ball handler or the girl that has the ball in the corner is in lead's primary, but we would consider this an unengaged matchup. So lead at this moment needs to have a big picture view as well and say, okay, she's not really defending this ball handler. I need to find the next defender. And if we watch where this defender comes from, so as soon as she dribbles out, we can have an awareness that she's dribbling it out and we have the defender on her, but then we see this other defending coming out to the diving out, which is opposite. Normally they're diving in. She's diving out. So pick up that awareness and have a big picture view as well from lead and say, I don't have an engaged matchup here. Who's going to hurt me next? Which is that defender running away.
And one more thing, if we take a look at the way that lead is standing, we would say that she's very perpendicular to the baseline, and in order for her to be looking where she's looking, she has to turn her neck far to look at it, which means that the play where the action area is, to be able to see it, she literally has to turn her head all the way back. So if she opens up her shoulders and becomes at a more 45, which I think she was working very perpendicular before the shot was taken anyway. So if you just open up your shoulders, then the less you have to move your head on a swivel to have that big picture mentality to be looking for your next competitive matchup. In this case, she would have to turn her head. If her shoulders are already open, her head wouldn't have to be turned. That's all I got.
That's really good. Does anybody else have anything else? That's really, really good stuff. Anyone?
I was going to add something, Blanca.
Okay.
I just like Angel's body language through this whole play. You can tell just center or slot, whatever the position you would call it, is one of the hardest positions to be in on the floor because you have to figure out where you can help the crew. And I think you could just tell by the way she's moving her feet, the way she's leaning in, she's looking for how she can help the crew at that moment. And I think that's something that's really good to look at too when you're looking at film. As you get more experience, your eyes can transition a little bit quicker. So probably when the rebound happens, she's kind of checking her area. She's going from block to elbow across to the other elbow, and she can just get there quicker because she's looking for the engaged matchup. So I think that's what I like to see on this play.
That's a really, really good observation. And also, she does a good job. I know on the women's side, they're big about putting our fist up on fouls. And Angel does a good job here, even though, the play being right or wrong, her signal was strong, and she was able to help out the crew on this play. Does anybody else have anything to add on this play?
Could you run this play and pause it right when Angel punches? See, I think this is excellent projection from her. And if I may just offer one bit of way to take this like to a 10, I think she could frame it. Have you guys talked about framing signals, Blanca?
We can do that right now, Rob. That's a good idea.
Not that I don't want to change the course here, but I see this, and this is like really good, but I think she could just put an exclamation point on this thing. If she just frames it just at one more second and holds that punch, it just makes it look a lot. In my opinion, I think that would just enhance it. As good as it is now, it would take it to another level.
I'll do it.
Sounds good. Okay, so thank you guys for that. Nat, did you want to pull yours up or did you want me to pull it up?
Can you just pull it up so that way it won't take me forever to figure it out?
Okay. Okay, here
That's
we
all
go.
right.
Alrighty. Okay, so do we need the, I just want to, not, okay, so we'll watch the video. Okay, so Angel, did you stop sharing your screen?
Yeah, she did.
Oh, I'm not sure what's going on here. Can you guys see my screen?
No.
I just see everybody still. Here, you want me to just try it on my end, B?
Hold on.
Or B, I can do it from my end.
I got this. Okay. So here we go. We're going to move on to the next play. So can you guys see my screen now?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
What about now?
Yes.
Yep. Yep. Now it's up.
Okay, Nat, so do you want to give a little synopsis before we hit play, or do you just want to play it live and then we'll go from there?
Yeah, let's just play it live and go from there. Just let the ball come up the floor.
Okay.
Good luck. Yeah. Well, why don't you and I get on the undercard? All right, yeah, let's go. You think you can hang? Oh, absolutely. Just don't hit me in the body.
All right, pause it, B.
Get out there with.
Run it back just a little bit. Let's just start at the initial setup when they cross half court to look at our coverage or look where everybody's at. All right, so this is good. Pause. So Trell's coming up the floor. He has the on-ball matchup. Lead is in a dependable position. Wide, which is where they want us. And then slot is free throw line extended, just kind of looking everywhere because there's no competitive matchups in my area and everybody's high. Okay, let it go.
Don't hit me in the body.
Okay, so the drive comes down the lane. Let it play, B. Tyler has an offensive foul. And then I'm coming in at slot with a very strong whistle. I probably shouldn't have tweeted and kept putting my fist up that much, but we'll talk about that next. So just let it play, be just live with no pause, and then everybody can see. I don't know, is it jumpy, guys? Can everybody see? B, can you slow it down to the 0.67 like we did the other day?
Well, I can't use VLC on this, so I'm using the other one. So do you want me to slow it down, you said?
Yeah, try to slow it down. So there we go, right there. Just do it like that. So as Jabari Parker, number 5 for Atlanta in the black, as he's driving to the basket, Bridges from behind has a subtle but effective push in the back, which therefore accelerates him into 23 white. And Tyler at lead is coming with an offensive foul. And I have an open look across the lane to see that push in the back, that acceleration. and I come strong, and I'm saying first foul, first foul, first foul. And so we go with the push in the back and not the offensive foul. So this is just where at slot, I have nobody else to referee, no other competitive matchups in my primary, and I can see that push in the back that accelerates him, like I said, subtle but effective. And also, if we want to get deeper, this would have been Jabari's 5th foul if we would have went offensive foul. So does anybody else, any questions, any comments? I'll take anything. If I need to do anything better, let me hear what you got.
What was your, obviously you and Ty came together and you had a conversation, right? What was that? How did that go?
I just looked at Tyler and I said, I have the first foul. He got pushed in the back from behind by Cam, which Cam Johnson is, or I mean, Mikal Bridges, which was the player for White for Phoenix. And he said, okay. He said, perfect, take it.
Okay, good.
And also, just to add another layer, being in my second year, being young, new, you know, this just also, if you want to talk about courage, this takes a lot of courage for someone, you know, so young and new, lesser experience. I'm working with 2 playoff officials, Tyler Ford, who made it to the 3rd round last year, and Kane Fitzgerald, who works the finals. So for me to finally come out of my comfort zone and help the crew and not just say to myself, oh, Kane's got it. He works the finals. He's the crew chief. Or Tyler Ford, he's a playoff referee. He's got it. I'll just sit back here and let them work. But I would be doing a disservice to my partners and to the game and to our staff if I just sat back and had that mindset.
Hi, this is Nicole out of Dallas. I want to say 2 things about that, just kind of piggyback off of what you just said. The first thing is I commend you because you were looking exactly where the C is supposed to be looking and doing exactly what the C is supposed to be doing. So what you just did in that is to let them know that, 1, yes, I'm a female, but I know the game and I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And 2, you really just upped your credibility. So I really commend you. That's exactly what the C is supposed to be doing, is seeing the things that the other positions can't see. Like that, the trail couldn't have seen that, the lead wouldn't have seen that. You did exactly what you were supposed to be doing, and I commend you for that. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Just adding on to that.
Go ahead, Lauren.
I was going to say that, you know, this is a good play for all 3 officials to be involved on. You know, obviously it's going to be a shooting foul now that we have a push in the back. So what Trail can help us with on this play is whether the basket went in or not, because that's something, you know, especially if we're doing LDB, RA plays, the outside official can be very helpful with things as far as whether the ball went in or not, who's a shooter, and potentially if it's a non-shooting foul, what the shot clock should be at.
Really good.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Natalie, too, with Nicole's comment, it just reiterated the fact of knowing where your partner can see and where they cannot, and you refereeing where your partner cannot. Because really, your progression here was probably you're finding the feet because you're ready to assist on feet. And now as soon as you go from feet, you also have the backside awareness, knowing that King cannot see the push. He's probably looking through the back because in a perfect world, you'd want the trail to referee the backside defender. Except he can't see this extension and you're wide open to it. So if I was inside your head, I would imagine you went from feet to the backside push, just for the officials who maybe don't have as much experience working RA plays. But your primary responsibility was to go to feet and then to the backside help. Is that right?
Correct. Yes. Thank you, Rob.
Okay.
Any
other questions, comments, thoughts?
And please, if any of these terms or verbiage that we're using, if something doesn't make sense or you've never heard it put that way or whatever it may be, please just ask. There's, like Blanca said, There's no stupid question, and
Everyone with the
you could.
LDB means. What's the LDB?
Got to ask what the LDB.
What did you?
Yeah, so everybody would know. You said terms. Let's give her an understanding what the LDB means.
Oh, so the LDB stands for lower defensive box. So do you see this 3-foot tick mark outside the lane? So for us in the NBA, you take that all the way up an imaginary line to the bottom tip of circle. See the bottom tip of circle with those other 2 hash marks in the paint. Take that all the way over to this other 3-foot tick mark, and that's our lower defensive box.
Okay, thank you.
So, and we have to use that whenever we have block charge plays. The offense has to start outside the LDB, and then the RA comes into play. It's very, there's a lot that goes into it, and you just have to be very studious, and we have to get our eyes to our spots in a split second to be able to make these calls.
Good information. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nat and anyone else who has made it like a call like that, when you have 2 really experienced officials and you're pretty much you're the less experienced official in the crew. Nat, how long did it take you to make a call like that? Like to feel confident enough to make a call like that?
I'll be truthfully honest. This might have been the first one. Like it was like that light bulb, like, oh, this is it. This is where I can come in and I can help the crew. And it doesn't matter who I'm working with, because like I said, I would be doing a disservice to my partners, my staff, and the game, to the players for that matter. We put the game first, our crew second, ourselves last. So this is the first one when Blanca said, hey, send me a play that you, a help play that you had. And this was literally the first one that I knew exactly, oh, I got to go look at that play that I had in Phoenix with Tyler and Kane. So, it took me a year and a half, so it's just, you just start seeing plays and you just put these kind of plays in your Rolodex and you see your other partners and your other staff members make these calls. And then it's like, okay, this is my time to step up.
That's good. Anybody else have anything else on this play?
Hello, this is Nicole and Brandon.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, I just wanted to say that I think it's also very important for the veteran officials to trust the newbie. I think that also helps build confidence within the newbie.
Absolutely. You nailed that, because when we got into the locker room after, this was like the second or third play that we watched, and both of them were like, fist bumping me and was like, that's a hell of a pickup. This is what we need from you. Like this was great. This is what, if you keep doing this, you're going to be on the right path, and this is the way that you help your crew. So that was very like uplifting and very positive, and that's what you want to hear being new and young. And I hate to say it, but being a female, I'm out here trying to gain credibility and believability just to show them that I belong and I can do the work that my male partners do.
Hey, Nat, really quick. So for those that can't go at halftime and watch plays, I know there's been people who are in this situation, and going into the locker room, maybe the feedback wasn't necessarily positive. So how would you handle it if they pretty much were like standoffish or upset, or just a different type of, I guess, negative energy in the locker room at halftime after calling this play?
Yeah, it happens. It's happened, to me before. And, I might get the opposite answer or camaraderie that I got on this. But, you just say, if Kane and Tyler would have been like, do not do that again, or don't come in and call that. That's not where we need you to step in. That, as a young, humble referee trying to survive in this league right now, it's like you just kind of say, okay, thank you. I didn't know, or I wasn't aware that this wasn't a play I could come and get, or just keep it short and simple, like, got it, appreciate the feedback. And then you just clip it and you send it to your circle of trust after the game and get their thoughts and, you know, pick their brains. And because, I mean, I'm sure we've all had a, you know, a not so positive conversation in the locker room. And some of the negative conversations aren't so negative. They're just growing and learning moments.
Okay, does anyone have anything else? If not, we'll go ahead and move on to the next play. We just have a couple more. Okay, Simbri, so do you have yours pulled up, Sim, or do you want me to pull it up?
I guess I don't have it pulled up.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do it since I'm already sharing my screen. So let me see here. Okay. That's it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and play it live, Simbri, and then you can come in and just tell us your thoughts on the play.
You got it.
Okay, so we'll run it back again. I know it happens kind of fast, so it's gonna happen right in here, okay? Just so we can know where our eyes need to be on.
Blanca, I can't see your screen.
We don't see it.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay, oops.
User error.
Shocker. Okay, let me see. Okay, what about you guys still can't see my screen?
No.
Okay, Wayne, can you pull this one up? I'm struggling here.
Yes, I will.
Is this your help? Calling for help, B?
I'm calling for help.
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I believe Simbri is this one here. Okay, Simbri, I believe this is UNC, correct?
Yes, I'm the opposite.
Right. And the shot is taken from C's primary?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's run it through all the way through once, and then we'll go back and take a look at it.
Yeah, go ahead and run it one more time if you would, please.
Yes.
The action we're looking for is right in front of lead.
So the shot is taken from C's primary, and the contact is going to occur below the low block lead, right in front of lead on this side over here.
Yes. So we have shot, somewhat of a contest, not a close matchup as far as a box out. So I could leave my primary and find somebody else that could hurt us. And this is, I think, the third time that I had this team. And the kid on white, I believe it's number 5, he's a problem in every game. So we just kind of always need to know where he is and what he's doing. So when I leave the shooter and I'm having the open vision, I'm just looking for anything that could be a problem. He comes in and clearly displaces the gold kid out of bounds and gets the rebound. So this is a much simpler play than Nat and Angels. But I will tell you, this is an uncomfortable play for me. It's what I like to say, it felt far. And I'm trying to take those words out of my vocabulary because like we talk about proximity to the play doesn't always mean that you have the best look at it. So this is a play that was uncomfortable for me. But I do think that it met all of the requirements. It was late, it was right, and it definitely needed a whistle. And I also know that sometimes when that contact happens right on top of you in lead, it is hard to see, or it is hard to know what happened. So when he didn't have a whistle and Trail didn't have a whistle, I knew that it needed one.
Correct.
Okay, so as far as positioning, does anyone want to break this play down as far as what the crew could have done to potentially be in a better position to referee or be able to get this play?
I'll go Blanca.
All right.
Not actually seeing everybody come down. I like to go back a little bit further, with this play as we're coming down. But just here in the front court set, I think right off the bat, Trail could get down, have a little bit more sense of urgency to get down there to about the 28-foot line, coach's box line. Simbri, if that you in slot, just from a mechanical standpoint, talking and maybe not on this play, but I think as a whole, when we get in the slot position, we need to get down to the free throw line. And what we do on the men's side is that if I was slot position where you are, I would have my left foot free throw line extended, meaning my right foot is obviously a step into the quote unquote paint. And if I'm slot over here by the bench, my right foot would be on the free throw line extended, if you will. My left foot, one step in that lane. I know where this shooter is shooting from, so you probably wouldn't be able to set up in that position now, but you are off the court. So we have a lot of things going on here. You've got a jump shooter that is close to the 3-point line. You do have a defender that is coming after him. Now that demeanor of that defender, he's coming, but he's not, obviously he's not there. So from the slot position, and what I tell the people that I work with here in Richmond, and a lot of things that you'll see, Rob Rourke, Jason Baker, myself, Millione, Natalie, I'm probably leaving some other people out on this call here, but take a step onto the floor so that you can see, number one, his feet to make sure that he or she is behind the line when they go to take that shot. We go all the way up, all the way down, and then we go to rebound. So you can, if anyone's taking notes, up, down, rebound. To me, it looks like you come off that pretty quickly to come and get number 5. I think Trail, first of all, I'm glad you had a whistle. It looks like it's the correct call here, but I'd like to see Trail have first crack at this. Lead, I don't know. He should see the demeanor of him. Number 5 is eyeballing him as he's coming down to that, to that block. So Lee's probably looking at ball as it's in flight. So kudos to you to having big picture mentality, even from the slot position. But I think that's pretty it, in a nutshell. It's all of our starting points initially is what allows us to be in position to make, correct calls. I don't think you have any help here, unfortunately. So good job for you coming and get this.
Can I add something real quick?
Sure.
So if we want to go back and look, when we went over, when Trey went over the checklist of reviewing film, if we look at Trail's feet, when this ball goes up just a little bit further here, he's already leaning back on he's already leaving the scene, right?
Mhm.
As Trail on rebounding action, our job is backside rebounding when it happens on the weak side, right? So we need to be stepping down, staying engaged, and seeing that our job is to find the person moving to rebound. We're not going to look at people just standing there, and we're not trying to get back on the end line. We need to step in, stay engaged. And that's his play. That's his guy coming down from the top. Lead on these kind of plays when they're coming straight at you. Sometimes we don't know how this action happens. We can take a guess on it, but he's stacked on this play and probably sees gold coming in and isn't sure which one creates that. But Trail really does have the best look at it. And Simbri comes in strong, excellent signal, and lets it play out, thinking like, okay, Trail's going to get this. But nope, she's, like we talked about the Beatitudes, she's late, she's correct, and she needed to do this for the game. So 3 for 3 on that. I think it looked great. And it's just a reminder to stay engaged as trail on this rebounding action.
I like it. Correct.
Also, Simbri, you obviously had your antennas up. Y'all talked about this. Y'all said number 5, I believe you said his number, quote unquote, problem child. Just going forward, me personally, just be careful maybe saying that. Just know who your interrupters are in the game, if that makes sense. Because the last thing you want to do is have your pregame, you know, hey, Simbri, you know, that number 5, he's a problem child. Last time I had him, he did X, Y, and Z. Well, guess what? That was last game. And now you get into this game, and let's say that was a good box out. Now you already have that preconceived notion that he did something illegally, and now we end up putting a foul on him that he probably didn't deserve. But it's good that you have an awareness of who your interrupters are, if you will. It just all comes down to verbiage and how you present it to your crew.
I like that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, any other thoughts or questions on this play?
I love the discussion. It looks like big picture wise, it's a crew breakdown on our coverage of the action leading from the shot to the rebound. We've already pointed out trail position. When the shot is on its way to the rim, we come to a stop and we shift our way into our front foot, and our momentum is taking us backwards towards the division line prior to the ball hitting the rim. So we've already disconnected from the play. We've disconnected, moving away from it. Let's take a look at lead. As shot is released on its way to the rim, instead of repositioning wide for rebound responsibility, and I understand depending upon which side of the ball you work, men's, women's, professional, high school, there might be slightly different approaches. But instead of positioning adjusting wide for rebound responsibility, we stayed static where we were. So the players, we allowed ourselves to get stacked as the players are converging on this spot right here, where I really believe if our lead had position adjusted prior to the ball hitting the rim, he would have been in a better position to pass judgment on this contact. Unfortunately, we didn't. So when the contact occurred, all he can see is the backside of the goal player. He cannot see point of contact. He does not see how white 5 got there. So he is stuck. Our trail is already disconnected from the play, moving in the opposite direction, thinking about the next play instead of finishing the play that's in front of us. In C, we did a great job of staying disciplined. We stayed focused. We took our shooter up and down. And since the closeout was not competitive, they gave you the freedom to shift your vision, your focus from the shooter to your rebound responsibility. We're referring to pre-bound from release to the rim. So we're looking at players. We're looking for contact. And because we released that player, went straight to rebound responsibility, we were able to pick up that contact on the opposite low block. Now, Simbri, you said something that a lot of officials go through, and a lot of officials are uncomfortable making a decision on this play due to the distance, where a lot of times we're uncomfortable calling this play because of how far away it is. I like the fact that you, in the moment, you overcame that and realized, no, that's illegal, and this play needs a whistle. You were late. Our partners did not have a whistle. So you were disciplined and put a whistle on the play. Yes. Details. Yes. And C, we should be on the floor. Let's try not to work off the floor. We're only off the floor in one position, and that's lead. But I like the decision. I like the strong signal. And I love the decision. What else do we have, people?
All right, Wayne.
I'm sorry, Blanca. For those of us who have replay in our game, any thoughts of going? And I'm just throwing it out there. Any thoughts of going to replay? You don't have to answer, but any thoughts of going to replay to check this out? Just something to think about.
I believe Blanca asked a similar question last week.
I say if you know that guy's a problem player and you know that he's going to add shit in your game and you want to make a point, you can go to replay to at least let him know. That's at the next level. If this person has been a problem and you know it from the past games, I say you can go. Or if you've already had a close play, you can also go then.
Correct. And the bottom line, have the question in your mind. Think about it. Ask the question. Ask your partner, do you think we should go take a look? Ask the question. Don't be afraid to ask the question.
I mean, we're probably not going to upgrade, but at least it gives a point to the players, the teams, and everybody.
I want to add something to what you just said, Wayne. You said ask your partners, do you want to go look? What I've learned being young in the NBA is that if I want to go look, because sometimes, you know, we all have stubborn partners, or we have, I'll just leave it at that. We have stubborn partners, and I have this gut feeling like we need to go look at this. But where I'm at right now in my career, I want to have confirmation. I've been having this, dealing with this thing of asking my partners for confirmation when my gut, usually everybody on this call, our guts are pretty damn good. So we always say, go with your gut. So my new thing for me and what I'm challenging myself is if I want to go look at something, I go to my crew chief and I say, I want to go look at this play. Instead of, do you want to go look? Do you want to go check this? Or do you think we should go look? No, to make you feel better and to get that gut feeling, like we talked about last week, just ask the question. Sometimes, like I said, I've found that I feel much better. And sometimes, again, you can help your crew out by saying, I want to go look at this. And then we get over there, and then the crew chief is like, oh, thank the Lord that you brought that up and you wanted to go, because we could come away with a flagrant, or we could an upgrade, or whatever it may be, a technical foul for a flail or whatever. But so that's what I'm challenging myself right now, or whenever our season gets started back up, is I want to go look at this, you know? So just food for thought for everybody, because I know we have a lot of younger, newer referees on this phone call, and I'm battling the same thing. So don't feel like you're the only one. So that's all I wanted to say.
That's good. That's good. And you're correct.
Really good, Natalie, because that actually happened to me this year in a game where I actually had to say it 3 times until they finally went. But if I would have said it like you just said, we would have went there immediately. And when we went to the monitor, it was a one look, absolutely upgrade play with 1 play. And if the crew chief would have told me no one more time, I may have just let it go. So I'm going to take that in my game. Thank you.
Well, if you think about it also, you have a different angle than that calling official. So if you think that you should go look at it, you have a different look. So to Rob's point, you know, you can save the crew, or to Natalie's point, you can save the crew, but just remember where you are, what you can see, and have that courage to step up and lead from behind.
That's good. Good stuff.
What else I think it also goes, I mean, just as far as knowing the rule, you start off with showing our list of what we need to have with us, but knowing the rules, when we see those plays, that's the confirmation, because we put the time in, the rules, the verbiage of what it is, that we know that escalates to. I mean, and that's what, I mean, it's not trust your guts. You put in the work that you know that's what it is. So go share that information and go look at it.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay, Wayne, I think we have one more play. Do you mind pulling it up for me?
Sure, not a problem.
It's Garrick's play.
Help play 2?
I think, yeah, it might be that one. I center 2, so I think that is, yeah, I think that is, yeah. Wayne, you're controlling this, right?
Yes, I am.
All right, well, go ahead and best you can let it just let it play out, and then we can start breaking it down here quickly. All right. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's hard to see on this, but obviously here's a play that's in my primary. Some of the things that we have been talking about already is our trail official Vlad. He's at or within the 28-foot coach's box line. Owen short and slot. He is well within the free throw line extended down to the paint. What I talked about on the previous play was, and then with me, I have opened up, and obviously I'm going to receive this play. So go ahead and get ready to pause. All right, pause. So as you can see, look, I'm on this play. So and it looks like Vlad is coming off the play in trail. He doesn't have an engaged matchup, so he can possibly help out with me with zero. That's Georgia play number zero there, I believe. Go ahead and let it. So this is my plays. Lead my play. Let it play. Get ready to pause. Pause. Would y'all say that I have a closed look on this play? Since I have a closed look, yeah. I should not have a whistle on a closed look. Okay. Right. Not saying, I could possibly have one, but I'm probably going to be wrong. So I see this. I need to trust the system. The system is the play is going away from me. It opens up to Vlad and trail, and it's coming to Owen short, who, if you were to freeze frame it ahead one more, you can see him start to dive down to try to get an open look himself. Vlad is on the backside, defender zero. Now, unfortunately, things happen there. Vlad comes in late, because right there, leave it right there. Zero hits him on the arm, which causes him to lose the ball. And so I trusted the system. For me, the right official in the right position made the call. So one of the things that we talk about is staying in our primary, refereeing the defense, calling the obvious, and trusting the system. And here's, I think, a great example of trusting the system. Vlad comes and gets it. He gets it late. He even told us after the game he wished he would have came in maybe a little bit quicker because of the way the play finished. If you go ahead and let it finish. It looks like my defender is the one who fouled him. And now right. Vlad comes. But Vlad had the foul on zero. And then Buzz stands up and wants to start yelling at me. And you can tell me I've got my hands down low, Buzz, don't yell at me or don't come at me like that or something. I can't remember exactly what I said. But he even apologized. And then while we're talking, he was like, why didn't you have a whistle? I said, I had one defender. Vlad had the other defender, and he put the foul on zero, not the other big. And he was like, fair enough.
That's good.
So anybody else want to jump in? Rob, Mike, Jenna.
I just want to say really quick, this is great right here because what he did is he addressed the coach, right? Because this coach is fired up because he doesn't understand, right? But Garrick, instead of ignoring him, he looked at him and he did something, right? And I know a lot of us have a tendency of just either ignoring or not addressing behavior when it comes to coaches. So, and it doesn't necessarily need to be when you're right up on the coach or right next to the coach. It's something as subtle as you see his body language here. It doesn't look combative. It doesn't look, he looks relaxed, but he looks firm and he's addressing the coach's behavior. Because just think if he just ignores him, they're probably going to have to tee this coach up at some point. So that was a really good observation that I saw that I thought was really good on this play.
I agree.
Thank you. And if you notice the time, the second half, Buzz started this game in a three-piece suit. He started this game in a three-piece suit to let you know how animated, how he fights for his team as well. So that goes to show you something.
Hey, Wayne, if I may, just one of the play calling guidelines that I saw when this play occurred, and for some of the listeners on here that may not have heard this yet, but just an experience thing. When you have plays where you have secondary defenders reaching in, and you see the trajectory of the ball here. The ball goes straight up. And again, this isn't an always and every time, but as a guideline, just your experience and feel on this play, when the ball goes straight up on a swipe down, it's typically going to be a defensive foul, as opposed to when the ball goes straight down. That typically is going to tell you that there was a legal play made on the ball. So if you watch here, the trajectory of the ball, when there's contact, it goes straight up in the air versus down.
Just one other positioning point. I mean, we were talking about it earlier. Vlad does a good job of getting down below the 28-foot line. Now, as the play goes to the basket, I think he would have a quicker whistle if he stepped down and walked the play to the rim to stay connected. And I think that's a good habit for us to get into. As the play goes to the rim, if you're in the trail, step down, stay engaged. And this way, he would have the whistle on that initial contact, and it might be a little quicker. He might not, have to explain anything.
I have a quick question, Garrick. Did he see this at all? Because I feel like, I could be crazy, but I feel like slot or center has a good look at this too. Did he say he saw it, or did he have an opinion?
I'm trying to
right there.
Remember,
sorry.
I'm trying to remember after the game. I think we talked about this, and he thought it was also great help for Vlad, and whether or not he saw it or he thought he'd be guessing, and maybe even giving me an opportunity to come and get it. By the time Vlad blew, then it was already.
And I agree with Natalie. I think, in my opinion, Slot has the best look, and if you were to ask Vladimir to a man, I think he uses that guideline in his feel on this play.
I agree, Rob.
Look at this play. There's just no way.
I can
I
see
must
that.
have been on the start bus because I thought C actually made the call, because C actually has the best look in the house at that. So I apologize. I must have been on the short bus because I really thought C called that.
No, you're good. If we take it like 1 second or like one quick play pause, I just feel like Slot has a very good look at this.
And he's already hit him. It just doesn't. Unfortunately, this video is not helping.
Right there,
with the
great freeze frame.
Yeah, he hits him. Right there. Now maybe that's something. Maybe Owen can't see that. You've got the ball in front of him, and maybe he doesn't see that.
Yeah, I agree with Natalie. I think it's a Slot primary play when it crosses like that.
But the bottom line is, I need to trust them, and not me possibly putting a foul on him on the big here on my defender.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you did what you did what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm just talking like who has the best look now is what I'm talking.
I hear you. What are you gonna say, Rob?
I was going to say, maybe extend on that thought about your thought process as this play goes away, and just as the primary, discipline that we talk about in the lead when plays go away.
Very good. So when we're in lead, my weight, at least I try to, this is part of my self-talk, is I try to put my weight on my heels when I'm in lead. We want these guys and gals to showcase their talents as they're going to the rim. When we're in trail or slot, that's probably the position, well, not probably, but we should be on our toes. What Mike Milione said about Vlad coming down the trail. He's engaged, his weight's forward, so he is initially here attacking this play and attacking the rim, where I'm the opposite, where my weight is on my heels. Also, with that being said, I've got a closed look. Since I've got a closed look, I want that air in my belly to stay down. And one of the things that helps me keep the air down in my belly is me keeping my weight on my heels. If I'm on my toes and I want to attack this, that air is going to be up, and then now I'm going to put a weak whistle and a weak foul on this play. Anything else you want to add to that, Rob? But that's pretty much it right there. Weight on my heels, air down in my belly, closed look. That player's going away.
Thank you. Boy, that was good.
Yes, that is very good. And we're trusting the system that we're operating within. Trust the system. Any other observations, thoughts, comments on this play?
And Owen needs to be on the floor, but maybe he feels zero close to him, and maybe that's why. And maybe that's why he is backed off. And who's to say that if zero wasn't a couple steps inside that 3-point line, now maybe Owen steps onto the floor. But I still think Owen needs to be on the floor.
Correct.
Anyone else have anything at all? Okay, Wayne, so Mike emailed me a PowerPoint that he did not too long ago about breaking down film. I emailed it to you, and I think it'd be very beneficial if you'd be able to send it to the group.
Will do.
Just so everybody can have that. It's a really good resource. So thanks for sharing that, Mike, and thank you guys all for being on the call. I think we're ready to close, Wayne, unless anybody has anything else, any other questions or comments or anything at all.
Okay, I really quick just wanted to thank all of you for taking the time to help us grow during this. I mean, the way that you guys are showing us these plays and breaking it down is so helpful, and you guys taking that extra time to do all this together, it means a lot. So thank you all.
You're welcome. I also want to thank every single one of you for taking the time out of your day to join us today, to join the call, and to participate and share your knowledge with everyone. Because I truly do believe that we all get better at what we do. We become better if we're all working together as one and helping each other. We will continue to host video calls every Wednesday at 2 o'clock. We will announce the topics for the week in advance so everyone can prepare for it. Once again, before we leave, I want to thank everyone for attending. I want to thank everyone for participating and having a really nice, honest dialogue about what we love to do. If you have any questions, reach out to us, reach out to anyone on the call, and I'm sure that everyone would love to share their perspective on any question you may have. All right, everyone continue to be safe for the rest of this week. Let's be safe. Let's continue to look out for our families and each other. If there's no other questions or responses, we will see you all next week. And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Wayne.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.